Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak-to-Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
Hello there, everybody. My name is Jamie Lammers, and welcome to a very special audio library episode of the Mountaineer Podcast, where I'm bringing you not just one audio library segment, but multiple audio library segments from the April 10th, 2024 edition of the Mountaineer newspaper. You know, I said I'd have an episode out every day during the last week. Well, that didn't end up happening. I really need to stop saying these things live on air. That being said, I still am going to release a 2-part Music of the Mountains episode over the next couple of days, so stay tuned for that special 2-part episode. And before we get into the article readings, here are some preliminary announcements. First, I wanted to let you guys know that it's time once again for the annual Mountaineer Poetry Contest. This is a reader-submitted contest with a Reader's Choice poll to vote for your favorite. Poems will be published through April 2025, National Poetry Month. Be sure to head to the mtnear.com/forms/its-your-turn or find the QR code to submit the form by heading to our homepage at the mtnear.com. Next, we're looking for more DJs to join the Mountaineer Podcast. We're always looking for more peak-to-peak voices to feature on this podcast, so be sure to email me at media@themountaineer.com to let me know if you want to be involved in the podcast in any way, shape, or form. Also, email our editor-in-chief, Barbara Hardt, at info@themountaineer.com. Next, I have a massive correction that I need to make. I recently promoted the music mentions for Eldora Mountain Resort at 2861 Eldora Ski Road in Nederland. And somehow or other, I promoted the music listing from last year's closing weekend and did not realize. So now I'm actually going to give you the music listing for Eldora for their 2025 closing weekend. On Wednesday, April 16th, starting at noon, Bottle Rocket Collective will be performing at Timbers Tap House, or on the West Wing Deck, depending on the weather. Head to the Woodward Boombox on Friday, April 18th, starting at 9 a.m. to see DJ Dave performing live. On Friday, April 18th, starting at noon in Timbers Tap House to see the artist-in-residence Eric Richard Stone performing live. On Saturday, April 19th, starting at 9 a.m. in the Boombox to see God Laser performing live. On Saturday, April 19th, starting at noon on the West Wing Deck to see Stellar Jays performing live. On Sunday, April 20th, starting at 9 a.m. in the Woodward Boombox to see Pomegranate Sounds performing live. And the final performance of this ski season on Sunday, April 20th, starting at noon on the West Wing Deck to see Konax performing live. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to The Mountaineer yet, then be sure to head to our website at the mtnear.com and click subscribe at the top right corner of our homepage. From there, you'll get full access to our digital archive and scanned copies of our physical newspapers. And you can even choose to receive a physical subscription, send it to your mailbox, or send it to the mailbox of someone that you love. If you want to get advertising in the paper or the podcast, then be sure to head to the mtnear.com/advertise to learn what options are available. All right, now let's get into this audio library special featuring multiple articles from Volume 48, Issue 25 of The Mountaineer, published on Thursday, April 10th, 2025. Let's bring in our reader, Celia Wilson. All of the articles read and any additional links mentioned in this episode are available in this podcast episode's description.
Peak Perspectives, Speaking from the Heart, by Barb Hardt, from Blackhawk. Some things are harder than others to say, I feel may need to be said in our mountain community. This week I have so much I want to share, so bear with me. One thing I want to mention is the Great Colorado Payback. This is happening right now. Here is a portion of the press release we received. I wouldn't include this, except I went onto the site and found out I had money due to me. A small amount, but worth taking the time to fill out the form and request money, right? Given today's tight economy, we all could use some extra cash for groceries, gas, and other necessities, said Treasurer Young. I am thrilled to continue modernizing our claims process so we can reunite more Coloradoans with billions in missing money. More than 12,000 claims have been pre-approved for payment due to streamline verification processes. Eligible claimants in Colorado will receive checks in the coming weeks and can cash them immediately without additional documentation. Each year, companies transfer millions in assets to the Colorado Department of the Treasury when they cannot locate the original owners, including individuals, companies, nonprofit organizations, schools, and other entities. The Great Colorado Payback currently holds over $2 billion in unclaimed property owed to more than 15 million individuals and entities. Since its launch in 1987, the program has returned $765 million to owners and their heirs, including nearly $78 million last year alone. An estimated 1 in 10 Coloradoans has unclaimed property with the state. To search for missing money, visit greatcopayback.com. That's GREATCOPAYBACK.com. Next, I want to talk to you about something that's been on my mind a lot. Last year, my youngest child graduated from Nederland High School. After being part of the Nederland Middle High School and Boulder Valley School District school system, I felt like a very long, complicated journey had come to an end. I had been part of the district as a student, then a parent, for almost 40 years. During that time, we went through at least a few dozen principals, vice principals, administrators, teachers, coaches, volunteers, and more. Not to mention all of the support staff and bus drivers. It's a lot of people. I always felt like we were the forgotten school system up here on the mountain. We get fewer resources, less consideration, less money. And in that time, I have heard dozens of times that the Nederland schools would be closed and families would be sending their kids down the hill to Boulder someday for school. Now, with the latest move from BVSD to have one principal for 2 schools at 2 different locations across town from each other, I fear that is exactly where we are headed. Here's the announcement from Boulder Valley School District that was printed in the Mountaineer. And here is one of the meeting reports we have of a Nederland meeting, which was the first meeting of the community with no prior input from parents or community members on that decision. Friends, teachers, parents, please continue to express your concerns about this situation. Send your letters to the editor here, themountaineer.com/forms/letters/ and send them to the school district here, superintendent@bvsd.org. Okay, on a different note, I'd like to recognize the hundreds of thousands of protesters that took to the streets around the entire country on April 5th, 2025. I keep seeing people saying the media isn't covering this. As a small independent media company, we are covering this. We are covering it from a local standpoint in Nederland, Boulder, Denver, and beyond. Send in your photos and a bit of info about the protest you're part of, and we will post it to our online gallery. As well, I want to recognize April as National Poetry Month, and we have our annual poetry contest happening right now. Submit your original poetry to the Mountaineer, and we certainly can't skip World Art Day, which is April 15th. This is a reminder to me to get dates selected for our 2025 studio tour. It's always in September, and we will make an announcement soon about days and times. If you would like to participate, send me an email at info@themountaineer.com. And make sure to watch for our new poll asking you what you like, dislike, want to see, and think about our publications. We value your opinion and will be posting the poll this week. We will also be posting our Best of the Peak to Peak contest on Sunday, April 13th. We are launching our ad sales for 2025 Visitor's Guide this week, and our 2025 Media Kit for all advertising options is online. You can find out more by checking our website or by calling Amanda at 720-960-2900 or by email at adsales@themountaineer.com. Check out our Body, Mind, Spirit Guide here and our 2024 Visitors Guide. Lady Eagles Soccer Undefeated by Dave Gibson, Gilpin County. It was no joke to the Union Colony Timberwolves that it took a little over a minute for Gilpin to score their first goal on Tuesday, April 1st. 3 more would follow to make the score 4-0 at halftime. 5 more goals were scored in the second half to bring the final tally to Gilpin 9 and Union Colony 0. Just their 3rd match of the season, it was a solid showing with all of the Eagles girls contributing to the lopsided victory. Senior forward Giselle Ostabo scored 3 goals and registered 3 steals and 1 assist. Adele Fisher wasn't far behind with 2 goals and 3 steals. Midfielder Elise Vincent dished out 3 assists and had a goal with 3 steals on the day. Gretchen Ostabo recorded a goal, 3 steals, and an assist. Freshman Acadia Bowman had a goal and a steal. Danny Sturklicht scored 1 goal. Leading what the Eagles have nicknamed the defensive wall of Annabelle Aloe, Mackenzie Marr, Kate Brennan, and Molly Brennan, Alole had 5 steals. Gilpin goaltenders J.D. DeMaro and Kiera Ferrante had 4 saves and 1 save, respectively. 2 days later, the Eagles traveled down the hill to Denver to take on the Bishop match of Buffaloes. Both of Gilpin's goals would come in the first half of play. Midfielder Jennifer Rodriguez Jimenez kicked in one of those goals to go along with her team-high 4 steals. Giselle Ostable recorded the other goal, courtesy of an assist from Elise Vincent. Goaltender J.D. DeMaro played the entire game, registering 6 saves and surrendering merely 1 goal. Final score, Gilpin 2, Bishop Matchabuff 1. It was a satisfying win against a quality opponent for the Eagles. In the 3 years that Gilpin's soccer team has been in existence, they had never beaten them until now. With a record of 4-0 in what is their highest ranking to date, the Lady Eagles are rated 5th best of 49 teams in the 2A League. Music of the Mountains, Where to Be and What to See. Canyon Collective by Jamie Lammers. Gold Hill. Zach Hedstrom moved to 4 Mile Canyon about 5 years ago. Around that time, he and other musicians in the area started hosting gatherings to jam and enjoy each other's company. Eventually, this gathering of people started playing local venues as a group, and thus Canyon Collective was born. The name Canyon Collective comes from the rotating lineup of the group. While there are core members who consistently play in the collective, there are also many musicians who live in and around 4 Mile Canyon who jump in and out of the group, creating a welcoming environment for local musicians. Hedstrom describes the group as a high-energy global groove funk band, as they play music primarily rooted in funk with various global influences such as Latin, West African, and reggae rhythms. As for core members, Hedstrom plays drums, Christopher Klaus plays bass, Ryan Benthill plays keyboard, Eshan Escofree plays trombone, Matthew Wilcock plays trumpet, Derek Miles plays guitar, and Greg Freeman serves as the percussionist. The group doesn't write structured songs for their performances, instead improvising their material together on stage. They'll talk amongst themselves about what style of piece they'll focus on in their next performance, then they'll perform it on the spot, riffing off each other in the process. Recently, the group had the opportunity to perform in a mine shaft for a private party. The performance was recorded, and listening to the recording, they realized they had something special. Because of this, the group has decided to release this recording as their first live album. For Hedstrom, the improvisational style that the group embraces means that musicians can embrace the present moment fully during their shows. He loves being able to take everyone's ideas at face value while encouraging the performance to be a spontaneous musical collection. Hedstrom loves being part of a band where every show gives a different energy through its spontaneity, and he hopes that everyone who comes to see a Canyon Collective show has a great time and feels encouraged to see them live again. For the group and the audience, every show is a different experience, and these musicians love that every show has new energy. Umoja Women's Village Provides Refuge by Dave Gibson, Kenya. For hundreds of years in the culture of the Samburu people, men have ruled their clans and villages. A man's worth is determined by how many cows he owns and the number of wives and children he has. Although the women are valued, they don't own anything, which leaves them without leverage in determining their own destinies. Their preordained role in Samburu society is secondary, reduced to collecting water, gathering firewood, preparing meals, and raising children. The women are sometimes subject to spousal violence or rape with no recourse available. In a 1990 incident, 14 Samburu women from one village were raped by British soldiers out on military exercises. Local law enforcement turned a deaf ear to the crime. The victims were shunned in their community and deemed unworthy of marriage or children. One Samburu woman, Rebecca Lolosoli, was appalled by the injustice and proceeded educating the 14 women about their rights. Previously warned by her tribesmen not to speak out against the patriarchal system, she was brutally beaten for trying to help the victims. Soon thereafter, Lolosoli left her husband to form a new village with the 14 women on a piece of land granted to them by the Kenyan government on the outskirts of Archer's Post near the entrance to Samburu National Reserve. Emphasizing gender equality, the name of the settlement is Umoja, which means unity in Swahili. Word quickly spread about Umoja, whose women sought sanctuary from sexual abuse, violence, female circumcision, or arranged marriages at a young age to men often decades older than themselves in exchange for a dowry of cattle and goats. Lolosoli received death threats. Disgruntled husbands would sometimes show up demanding their wife property back. If the interlopers refused to leave, they were beaten with sticks until they did and were reported to authorities for trespassing. In actions similar to restraining orders, in some cases, offenders were banned from making further contact with their property. The village eventually grew to a population of 70 women and 200 children. No men were permitted to stay there, and sons were required to leave when they turned 18. The women owned their land, managed their finances, and maintained livestock. Extra income is earned by selling beadwork or from tours of the village given to tourists. A school was built in 2014 to provide education for the children, both boys and girls, of the community. The number of inhabitants has fluctuated over the years. Many of the women maintain relationships with men outside of the village, and some have left to get married to someone of their own choosing to start a new life. As of 2023, men are allowed to stay at Umoja, and the family units have formed. As long as they respect women, the men are welcome. Eldest males sit on the inside of the council circle and women on the outside, as tradition dictates. But make no mistake, the female voices are heard and their ideas considered. The women of Umoja village have attained status that didn't exist 30 years ago, and now have more control over their lives. Incrementally, among other Samburu villages, as my safari guide who drove me to Umoja put it, society is changing. Keep It Local, Zuku Baskets by Lynn Hirschman, Netherlands. This is the business that started it all. While the offices at 80 Big Springs Drive are a strongly positive addition to the downtown commercial scene, the driving inspiration for the building was this early business of Steve Caraway's. He explains, "We founded Zuku Baskets with a simple mission, to share the beauty of hand-woven West African baskets with as many people as possible. For over 35 years, we've been importing and wholesaling these stunning baskets to retail stores across the U.S. and Canada. But we wanted to make them accessible to everyone, and that's how ZukuBaskets.com was born. Now, individuals can shop directly for these one-of-a-kind handmade baskets and bring a piece of Africa's rich craftsmanship into their homes. A look at Zuku's gorgeous website will show you the superb quality and beautiful variations of these baskets, from the handy totes to the generously sized laundry baskets to the cozy Moses baskets for babies. Zuku's Moses baskets, which are baby bassinet shaped, are one of our featured and most unique basket styles. They provide the perfect nest for your newborn and are an ideal gift for expecting parents. Caraway makes it clear that Zuku Baskets is a fair trade online store that is dedicated to supporting the Ghanaian weavers and their families for over 20 years. We help artisans thrive by covering their annual health care registration and donating school supplies to children in Bolgatanga, the heart of Ghana's basket weaving region. Zuku Baskets offers these beautifully handcrafted items directly to online customers, Caraway boasts. Unlike other retailers, we let you choose exactly the basket you want. What you see is what you get, with no surprises. For our neighbors in the greater Netherlands region, we're offering a special 20% off discount at ZukuBaskets.com with the code LOCALLOVE when you opt for curbside pickup in Netherlands. It's our way of supporting the local community while bringing you authentic, artisan-made baskets from Ghana. Zuku ships its baskets to the contiguous 48 U.S. states and across Canada. Shipping is free for all orders over $150, a flat $20 fee otherwise. For Caraway and his small crew of 6 in Netherlands, the real joy of this operation is in supporting the talented weavers and their communities in Ghana. and I cherish working alongside our amazing team here in Nederland. The most rewarding part of this decades-long journey is knowing that we're making a real difference, helping vulnerable artisans in Ghana while bringing joy to everyone who encounters these beautiful baskets. The positive impact on the artisans and their families is our top priority and guiding inspiration reflected in every basket we ship to you. He adds, "We all love what we do and appreciate working with such unique, artistic, and functional baskets." Obviously proud of his enterprise, Caraway goes on, "We anticipate continued growth for ZukuBaskets.com and plan to extend our selection of baskets in the years ahead." Columbia University funding cuts affect Boulder locals research by Jamie Lammers, Rollinsville. On Friday, March 14, 2025, the National Institute of Health, NIH, informed Columbia University that a significant portion of awards and funding from the NIH had been canceled. Of $400 million of federal funding canceled, $250 million came from the NIH. On Tuesday, March 18th, Kelton Miner, PhD, learned that his award was among those canceled. In August of 2024, NIH and its director, Monica M. Bertinol, informed Miner that he had been selected as the winner of the 2024 Directors Early Independence Award, funded through their Common Funds High Risk, High Reward Research Program. The award went to Miner for supporting junior scientists in establishing accelerated career paths, leading to outstanding and sustained contributions to biomedical and behavioral research. In October 2024, the NIH announced Miner's reward. With the fund's cancellation, the momentum in his research program has completely halted, as has his promotion to assistant professor at the elite university. Miner posted the announcement on social media, declaring his devastation and shock. He wrote, "As a proud American born and raised in the land of the free, I never thought that my scientific research would be canceled by my very own government." Miner urged social media users to spread the story and spread the word. It spread enough that Miner was able to share his perspective on the March 20th episode of the BBC World Service podcast, Science in Action, headlined, "Columbia Cuts and Transgender Mice." In the episode, Miner states that the initial shock of the news felt darkly surreal and, to be frank, brutally unfair. He was given no explanation as to why his award was singled out, but now losing this funding means that his entire academic future is currently in limbo. Miner's mother, Rollinsville resident Carrie Miner, has felt a different kind of grief watching from a distance. She feels equally devastated and shocked by the fund's cancellation, and that the years of work her son has dedicated to research science have been suddenly halted. Reflecting on this experience, Miner hopes that people continue to spread the word and don't let what's happening die in darkness. When we shut the eyes of science, we lose more than we know.
Thank you so much, Celia, for being our reader for this very special audio library episode of the Mountaineer Podcast. I'll be back very soon with our regularly scheduled Music of the Mountains episode. But in the meantime, if you want to share this episode or others around with whoever you see fit, then be sure to head to the mtnear.com and scroll near to the bottom, or head to our podcast's main hub at the mtnearpodcast.buzzsprout.com to see a full archive of all of our episodes. If you're interested in being involved in the podcast in any way, shape, or form, we'd love to hear from you, so send us an email, me at media@themountaineer.com or Barbara Hardt at info@themountaineer.com, to let us know how you want to be involved in the podcast. And finally, if you want to give us specific or general feedback, then head to an individual episode description and send us a text. I'll see you guys very soon with the first of 2 parts of our next Music of the Mountains episode. Have a great rest of your day!
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak to Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.